L, 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 D, L. That's right. Tottenham Hotspur have lost, drew, lost. They haven't won a Premier League game since October. That is how bad it has gone for Ange Postecoglou. Now, look, when he landed in the Premier League, he was doing everything right, and they have been blighted by injuries. They have been so unlucky with injuries, but he needs to amend his system. They were phenomenal earlier in the season. After 10 games, they were top of the league. They hadn't lost. They'd won 8 out of 10. It was impressive, and some Tottenham fans were genuinely dreaming of a title charge. But things have changed, and they have drastically changed. The only thing that hasn't changed is Ange Postecoglou's tactics. He needs to amend, he needs to evolve, because otherwise Tottenham are going to find themselves cast into the abyss alongside Chelsea. That is how drastic it has got for Tottenham. They do not have answers. In previous years, they could rely on the brilliance of Harry Kane to get them out of trouble. And in fact, if Harry Kane had played for Tottenham tonight, he would have scored a hat-trick. Tottenham were fantastic. In that first half, they dictated the tempo, they dominated, they created chances, they were masterful. It was a fantastic performance, only matched by the fantastic halftime team talk that must have been delivered to his players by David Moyes, because West Ham United came out of the traps and they were a totally different team. And all of a sudden, we start thinking of Tottenham and what Tottenham means. As Roy Keane would say, Spursy. They were Tottenham. And that performance that we have seen tonight is up there with some of the most Spursy performances ever. The famous ones. The John Macken for Man City. The big ones under Pochettino when it looked like they could have won silverware. But West Brom got in the way. Stoke got in the way. Burnley got in the way. All under Pochettino. And I tell you what, tonight, that was a proper Tottenham performance. They blew it. It was up there with being 3-0 up against Manchester United and losing 5-3. David Beckham. That is how big that defeat was, and that is how significant it was. Because it happened to West Ham United. Now look, when West Ham play Tottenham, it is a proper derby, you know that. Like, if you aren't from London, I promise you, it is as intense, it is as full of antipathy, as full of hostility, as bitterly rival. They are as bitter rivals as you can possibly be. It has everything. It will be a real spring in the step of the away fans travelling to that game. And the game is laced with history and venom. And it really is an intense game. Like, think about big moments. Some of Gareth Bale's biggest moments coming at Upton Park. Paul Stalteri. Only the OGs remember Paul Stalteri and his moment in that West Ham team that contained Carlos Tevez and whoever else. Lasagna. The Lasagna Gate. The day that Tottenham Hotspur didn't qualify for Europe happened against West Ham United. In fact, the first time that Tottenham got beat in this new ground was, of course, by West Ham United. So this game it means something. It is a London rivalry. They're not far away from each other in London. There was talk of the ground. Remember when West Ham got this ground? Remember when West Ham moved into the Olympic Stadium? Tottenham tried to gazump them. Tottenham tried to get it. There is no love lost. And Tottenham should have won this game. It was there for them. They should have won it. And that is why I believe that this was Tottenham's worst performance of the season. Now, before you jump down my throat, hear me out. I know the performance overall against Wolves was worse. But they got beat against Wolves, and that's kind of fair enough. The reason why this is the worst performance of the season is because they were good. They were good, they dominated, they did enough. There just wasn't quite enough to them. You know that midfield partnership that they've got of Bissouma and Højbjerg? I like Bissouma. I think he's a very good player. I really do. But if there is a criticism of him, the criticism is probably that the final ball, his final pass, his final eye, can he play the ball through the eye of the needle? And the answer is probably not. They do a lot of good work, Bissouma and Højbjerg together, but there is not enough invention. And that is why James Maddison is such a crucial miss, because they basically can't replace him. Ange Postecoglou has been speaking in his press conferences, suggesting that replenishments up front are necessary. And they most certainly are. Because when you look at the chances that they spurned today, Tottenham aren't going to get anywhere. The Richarlison header is a disgrace. I thought he was a good player. Old Porro, I thought he had a very good game. Whipping them in. With some serious whip on it. And Richarlison has to score. It's a dream cross. Dream cross comes over. Richarlison been on the pitch a few minutes. Dream cross comes over. Richarlison has the entire goal to aim at. And he somehow puts his header wide. He could have aimed so much less precise and still scored. He didn't need to go for for the intricate corner that he was going for. But look, they were ultimately the better team and they have been beat because then, as you would expect, Richarlison misses. West Ham United go up the other end and score. James Ward-Prowse. Very good player, James Ward-Prowse. His delivery, unbelievable. His eye for a pass, unbelievable. And he has created more chances than any other player in the Premier League this season. That is how good he is. Some would suggest that he should have scored more. I don't think he's scored since September. But he has put an end to that today. He capitalised on an Udogie mistake, and that is why, another reason why, this is such a Tottenham performance, and it is such a poor performance from them, making it their worst performance of the season, because they were the architects of their own downfall. They were the reason that they lost. They missed too many chances, and they were wasteful in front of goal, and then they gifted West Ham United 2 goals. The Udogie pass back that was charged down by Jared Bowen. I thought Vicario did well. He put his head, he was brave, he did his best. Maybe he could have captured the ball. Let me know what you think about that one. But ultimately, he spilled it. The ball comes out to James Ward-Prowse, who gets a little bit lucky. Rolls it into the post, comes back perfectly for him. The only thing he had to do is make sure that he avoided Jared Bowen, who would have been offside. Just avoid Jared Bowen and you score. So it's a really, really bad result, but something needs to change here because Tottenham are all over the place. They really are. Like, they have taken 1 point from their last 5 games. And in every single one of those games, they have taken the lead. It's ended in 4 defeats and a draw. They are going 1-0 up in every single game, and it is ending in a draw or worse. So there is a real problem there. And I really do not know how this is going to end. In fact, Tottenham have actually dropped more points from winning positions than any other team in Europe's top 7 divisions. They have dropped 16 points from winning positions. Ange Postecoglou has embraced the spirit, the fibre and the DNA of Tottenham Hotspur incredibly quickly. Fair play to him on that. But ultimately, Tottenham are the reason they didn't win. They dominated that first half. They should have scored more goals. And the fact that they went in 1-0 up was a pretty meagre return for their dominance. Romero's header. But ultimately, it came down to their own wastefulness in front of goal. Terrible times for Ange Postecoglou. And it feels a long time ago now, doesn't it, that people were lauding him. And I was actually put on Australian TV alongside Booth, where they were laughing at us for suggesting that he wasn't going to necessarily hit the ground running in the Premier League and that his CV wasn't that impressive. Let's see if he can turn it around. They've got some huge fixtures coming up, but if they don't sort it out soon, they will not be in contention for top-tier European football next year. In fact, I would go so far as saying that they will not be making it. They're just not as strong as some of the other contenders, Aston Villa, for example. Thank you, as always, for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please, please, please do me one favour before you go. Click subscribe. I would love to welcome you into this community. I hope you're all having a wonderful night. And thank you to Tottenham Hotspur. They cheered me up.